Good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning and my co-host, THBoyd, our partner for today. Thressea is the owner of THBoyd Communications, and she's also the owner and publisher of South Georgia Magazine, a business and cultural publication. And she also serves on our board. We thank you.
Good morning.
In a minute, she is going to start off our 3-day webinar with how to utilize the AAA. So I wanted to, this is a recorded, we've recorded this, so your chat button is not going to work today. That was kind of something that we had tried a little earlier this morning, and we've had to kind of backtrack and start over. So if you have any questions for Thressea, we will give you her email address at the end of the presentation. And she also has a little handout that she'll be wanting to send to you as well. So, you know, we'll take care of that at the end. I'd like to say, to start off with, that we at the Chamber know that this is a difficult time for all of us. But I was reminded a few days ago that tough times don't last. Seems like it's a little longer than we wanted it to be, though, but tough people do. So our Chamber, although we're a nonprofit, we operate just like any small business. And when we say we know what you're going through, I promise you, we do. Presently, we are working from home, and we're concentrating on providing you with the information that will be helpful for you, for your business. You can go to Valdosta-Chamber.com. We have a resource page there, and we're also on Facebook, so you know you can see the Chamber's Facebook page. SEED, the Business Resource Center, is definitely open. I can take your call still at 229-247-8100. My extension is 234. Or you can email me at bmorgan@valdostachamber.com, and I am constantly going through that and looking at that, so I'll be here to help you. I can help by answering your questions maybe, or making that connection for you to someone that is an expert in that field, and they could answer your questions a little better. If you're finding yourself with some downtime, which, you know, I understand about that right now, but, you know, maybe it's time to be doing a little bit of work on your business. So I can help you with research if you need a demographic report, or if you need me to do a business comparison for you. If there's something I can help you with, in those capacities, I'll be happy to. Maybe you've never written that business plan, and now's a good time for us to kind of work through that. Our services are free. I don't know if I mentioned that, but all their services are free for you to utilize the SEED Center. We'll also be doing some ongoing webinars through our Business University. So be sure to watch our calendar on both SEED's Business Resource Center and the Valdosta Chamber. And I know that Thressea is getting ready to start, but I wanted to pass along a few tips here, and I think she's going to weigh in on some of these as well. One thing that I want you to know is you have to take care of yourself. I know that this can be difficult, especially when the cash is running out and you're trying to figure out how you're going to keep your business afloat. But you're going to have to find a way to take care of yourself. Don't you agree, Thressea?
Definitely. I think one of the important things is to protect your state of mind, and make sure you're getting plenty of rest and also exercise. You can still get out there and walk, even though the gym might be closed. You can still get out there, and keeping yourself with a routine is really, really important during this time.
I know, and you know, and it does help you to stay calm, and then it also helps you to be calm your staff. It'll help them to be as calm as well. Another thing that I'd like to point out is to tap into these resources that are being offered to you today, not only through the government, but through the SEED Center, through mentoring. You know, lots of people are, you know, interested in being able to mentor you right now. And Walt will be here with us tomorrow, and he's going to be talking about the SBA loans and those things.
Yeah, and that's going to be an important discussion because a lot of people have been hearing about these loans. There's some confusion about them. How do you apply? Do you go to your banker? And that sort of thing. So I think Walt will provide a wealth of information to help people walk through that process on those loans. Yeah. And some of them are not really loans. They are actually more like grants.
Yeah, absolutely. So be sure to watch for that tomorrow. Also, making a 3-month financial plan. Every business has the same key expenses almost. You've got employee salary, you've got office rent, you've got utility bills. Speak to those people that you owe that money to for the next 2 or 3 months and see if there's an option to maybe spread out the cost.
Yeah, exactly. Just like your household budget, you're looking at that, thinking about, well, I was getting ready to do XYZ to my house. Maybe, we need to kind of wait on that type of thing. So yeah, with your small business, a lot of your expenses can be consolidated or held off on for right now.
Yeah, and they're going to want you to stay their customer. So, I think most people are going to be understanding and want to help and want to work with you right now, just like you're going to want to work with businesses that do business with you as well. Another thing is maybe look for some opportunities. I know that it's not nice to capitalize on events such as this, but it could be a wake-up call.
Yeah. And too, you mentioned that, and I just happened to hear a really good podcast about this. And if anybody's interested, I can send them the link to it. But it was talking about, now is not really the time to give away your business. You do want to provide some incentives to bring business in the door, but don't get into the mindset that you've got to give away the farm in order to keep your doors open. Treat those who have been customers in the past very good. But you've got to hold firm to, your revenue stream.
Absolutely. And we've also found that looking for opportunities in this, how we're doing things differently now, and I think some of these things, our customers may want them afterwards, just like offering these classes from Business University virtual. People may enjoy this, and so this may be something that going forward is becomes a norm. So we can look for those kinds of things that we can do. Right.
I definitely think that there's just some options out there, especially for video conferencing and getting people together and providing professional development. And this was one of the reasons we decided to have this, was to be able to provide some professional development, especially to small businesses here in the Lowndes County area.
Right. And making sure that you upscale your staff. Whenever possible, try to keep your staff. They rely on you. And also, if you have a good team, you don't want to lose them, and they're your support team as well.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You have to think about the amount of training that you do for your employees, especially if they've been with you several years. Think about, they're an investment. You've invested a lot of your capital expenses into them and getting them trained and serving you. So don't just toss that out easily. And again, Walt will talk about this a little bit more on his presentation, but there are some funding for specifically that, keeping your employees.
Absolutely. And sometimes you can cross-train people. It always helps, especially if you have a small staff. We found this to be true just at the chamber. If someone's out, sometimes, it's like, oh my goodness, who's going to do that? Or who's going to handle that particular. So being able to cross-train right now may be a great time to do things like that.
Yeah. And two, think about it from your employee standpoint. The opportunity for them to learn a new skill is important. And this is a good time for professional development.
Absolutely. I agree. Well, now, Theresa, I think I'm going to go ahead and turn our meeting over to you.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. So, we titled this Navigating a New Normal, which is exactly what we're at. We're at definitely a new normal. But if we think back, there's been times where after the recession or after 9/11, there was a new normal and we all adjusted and we got through that. So I want everybody to kind of think about their goals. And again, I want to emphasize you, right now, pull out your goals. Where are you? Today is April 1st, so we are definitely starting the second quarter of 2020. And so you need to be looking at your second quarter goals, not just your revenue stream, but what did you have planned for April, May, and June? And are you going to be able to carry that out? So just like a GPS in your car, you have a destination you're going, and then it gives you a step-by-step instruction. It tells you some different routes that you can take, some faster, some a little longer, and you select that route and off you go. The GPS will also tell you when you kind of hit a detour and you have to kind of recalculate. And so I want people to understand, small business to understand, this is not the end of the journey. This is kind of a detour in the road, and you're going to get through it. We're all going to get through it. And you're not alone, because here in South Georgia, we deal with hurricanes and tornadoes and all sorts of different things. And when those happen at different parts of the country, other parts of the country rally to that area. Well, there's not going to be that rally because everybody's in the same situation right now. Everybody is facing this, not just here in the U.S., but internationally. We're all on a major detour at this point. So as small business owners and leaders, I want to encourage you to really set your mindset and be willing to make some pivots, make some changes. You're going to have some different options, but the main question is, and then I'm going to ask each of you to answer right here, right now, is, are you going to fight or are you going to flight? Because it's your choice. You can make the decision. You are going to fight hard for your business. Whether you just started, I was driving around the other day and headed to the grocery store, and I started thinking about some of the new businesses that started here in Valdosta-Lowndes County, and I'm thinking, oh my stars, what is going through their minds? They maybe just opened a few months ago, and then here this hits. How are they comprehending that? How are they processing that? But same for us, if your business is 15, 20, 30, 40 years old, you got to make the decision right now. Are you going to fight for your business to keep it open and keep it going? Are you gonna flight? So that's the question. And now is not the time to say, I'm going to wait and see how this all plays out. Because I'm going to tell you, if you're going to wait, it's not going to look pretty on the other side. You've got to take your goal, and you've got to start making some adjustments to it. So if you don't have goals written down, quarterly goals, at the end of this, we'll give you my email, and of course you can contact the Seeds Business Center or SBDC, and we'll walk you through how to do some goal setting. And again, that's very different from your business plan. Many of you wrote a business plan when you first opened, or to get a loan or anything like that. And a business plan is extremely detailed document, but a strategic plan or goals is very different, and everybody should have those, and everybody should be working off of those, because they say a goal not written down is just a wish. So I don't want y'all just to have a bunch of wishes. I want you to actually have some goals that you can accomplish. Even if you're just a one-person operation like I am, where I rely on freelancers and contracted workers, you still need a set of written goals. So, when you take a trip, I know when my husband and I take a trip, he likes to plan everything else. So we often call AAA or use one of the other services to plan that trip. And so we're going to kind of use that AAA analogy as we kind of walk through this, and the AAAs of finding the new normal. And we're going to start with acknowledge. And that's the important one, because you first got to acknowledge that there, like I said, there is a new normal coming, and we do not know what that looks like. And you're going to hear a lot of different people on the news and different things tell you this is what it's going to look like. We're headed for a major recession. We're headed for this. We're headed for that. It's going to be 12 months, 18 months. At this point, it's still very fluid because we really don't even know when schools are going to open, and when restaurants are going to be able to be fully operational. And so until some of those things start to happen, there's certain indicators in communities when a crisis happens. I've often heard that FEMA uses the Waffle House way to determine how bad of a situation is. If the Waffle House is closed, then they know it's a bad situation. Well, folks, there are places where the Waffle House is closed, so it is not a good situation. But we need to just stay focused on the situation. And what I want to encourage everybody to do is find a notebook or a journal, or next time you're at the grocery store picking up some milk and bread, and I hope you can find bread, get a little journal, because I want you to start writing down your thoughts. And I want you to start writing down some things, some reflections about what's happening with your business. Because not all businesses right now are looking the same. Some of them are completely shut down. You can talk about daycares and gyms and spas and salons. They're completely shut down. So there is no revenue coming in for those businesses. There's other that are partially operational. Restaurants, some boutiques, some stores are open, but maybe limited hours or limiting how many customers can come in through. Then there's still some businesses who are operating at 100% plus. And those are the businesses that are really busy right now because they're in high demand during this time. But they're going to have some obstacles, because when things go back to normal, their services that they're running at 100% plus will not be that way. So they may be generating a lot of revenue in right now that's going to then begin to level off. So, I want you to start thinking about new revenue streams. And I'm going to give you an example that I've kind of noticed. For example, restaurants. So all of our restaurants here in Lowndes County if dine-in are shut down. But they've started offering curbside services or takeout. Some of them, this is new, or to the volume that they're doing it is very new. Also, some of them I've noticed have started doing like meal packages where it's a family of 4 and it's a complete dinner that you can call ahead and order. Some of them are offering casseroles and other side dishes, things that they had not done before. So if you're in one of those businesses that's offering a product or a service that you've never done before, I want you to really start thinking about, is this a revenue stream that I can adapt later on, that can actually add to my business? Because ideally, then when you get fully functionally, you're going to have a new revenue stream that you didn't even know existed. So if that's the case, I want you to start writing it down, and I want you to start making notes. Are you seeing different customers that you hadn't seen before? Are you reaching your customers differently? Are you using social media more or less now? So write these things down. Take some time for reflection. I've heard several people talk about, now, like in my house, there's 2 of us working from home. So finding that time, that quiet time for reflection might be difficult, but I encourage you to put it in your calendar, schedule that time in to really sit and think at the end of the day, what looked different in my business today that might be a source of revenue kind of moving forward. Then after you've kind of acknowledged all that and you've got this journal, then I want you to assess your strengths and weaknesses, and identify those resources that you have that have carried you through all this time, and resources that maybe you haven't had that you need to gain. Also, I want you to think about mitigating your risk. Where's your company vulnerable? When all this started happening and you started that panic, what were some of the first things you thought about? What did you think was going to shut down your business? Start writing those things down, because as you move forward, these are some of the things that you want to look at, so that when the next crisis, and there will be another crisis, comes along, you are better prepared, because you made those changes and made those alterations now. So now is the perfect time to be really writing those things down, because I guarantee you, when things start getting busy again, you'll forget all about it. And then the next thing will come along and it's like, oh no, how did I handle that? What did I do? So start writing that down. Then if you do have to make some changes, make sure you're making incremental changes. Use a staircase approach. And again, and Betty's mentioned this, last thing we want to do is let go of employees, because that not only hurts this economy here locally, you've invested a lot into these employees. So that is last resort. Next, I want you to kind of hit pause. If you have a product or a service that you were getting ready to launch in April, I want you to not necessarily launch it or start it, but I want you to hit pause for a little while. And I want you to think through that, especially if it's going to be expensive. It's going to require some extra expense or resources as far as employees that maybe you don't really have right now because they're working from home or different things. You may need to put those things on pause. But however, if it's something that could produce a revenue stream, then you need to really begin to implement that. And I would suggest you do that in increments, a small increments, see how it goes, test the waters a little bit. And just think about conservative adjustments that you can make in the way you reallocate resources, loan consolidations and different things like that. And again, Walt will talk a little bit more about that. And then once you've done that, you've acknowledged and assessed where you are, it's time to activate your plan and start moving forward. Take the small steps, not giant leaps at this time. Again, look at your goals. You want to break them down by quarters if possible, monthly, and even now weekly, because long-range planning at this point is probably not going to be advisable. Right now, you just want to get through what we're getting through. So also, Betty talked a little bit about this, about taking care of yourself. Give yourself some grace. Allow for mistakes. Allow for them and adjust to them as quickly as possible. The important thing is just to keep moving. And our worlds have been kind of turned upside down. But I know the first week, everybody was just kind of walking around in a daze, and it was kind of almost a henny penny kind of attitude. The sky is falling, the sky is falling. Well, the sky's not falling. And we will be able to move forward and get through all of this. So just keep moving and get that plan. Again, if you don't have your goals established, then contact one of us. And so we can kind of walk you through that. And I always like Sheryl Sandberg, CEO of Facebook, in her book, Lean In, she uses the quote, "Done is better than perfect." Sometimes you just need to get it done. I'm one of those people that just sit and look at everything and analyze it and analyze it and analyze it. And sometimes you just need to pull the trigger and just get it done. So if there is something that you've been thinking about with your business and you put it on the back burner, again, if it's a revenue stream, you need to just go ahead and get it out there as quickly as possible. And just kind of in closing, some things that you can do right now, you can realize that you're not in control. And that's, I think, is one of the most important things is you're not in control of this situation, but you can guide your business. So whether or not you can control all the different things that are coming that, out there that are decisions being made, you can't control those, but you can guide your business. Keep your daily routine. It's very easy to fall back and just kind of work a few hours here, a few hours there, but keep your daily routine going. And also connect to your clients. If your business is completely shut down, make sure you're connecting, keeping those clients informed. just call them up, see how they're doing. You know, this is not a time to hard sell. This is just a time to check on your clients, because let them know you're coming back and you want them to be back. And most importantly, be nimble, be flexible, but fight for your business, because if you don't fight for it, nobody's going to fight for it. So those are just some of the things I wanted to encourage. The chamber is going to send out some information that we discussed today. And again, if you need to reach out to any of us, we'll be providing our email. Please do that, because we're here to help you just kind of walk this through. And the chamber and the Seeds Business Resource Center they're your best friends during this whole thing. And Betty, we appreciate everything that you've done for us.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being willing to share with us this morning your expertise as being a small business owner yourself. You've already been through some of these things that you're talking about, and it helps us to be focused sometimes. You had mentioned earlier to me about developing your circle of 5.
Yeah.
And talk about that a little bit, because to me, right now, we're at this point where we kind of feel alone, because we're at our homes, most of us working at home. And so that might be helpful.
Yeah, so, you know, in the book, Jim Rohn talks about your circle of 5. So you're basically made up of the 5 people who you spend the most time with, who are influencing you. So look around, and who is your circle of 5? Who is encouraging you? Who is holding you accountable for your business? As small business owners, oftentimes we answer to ourselves, but really that's not true. We're influenced by those people around us. So it's important that you reach out. And again, if anybody just needs somebody to throw an idea at and see how it fits, run it up the flagpole and see who salutes, as my husband used to say. But just find out what's going to work, what's not. You need some business people there to help you do that. And keep that circle of 5. Think about your circle of 5. The 5 people that you're spending time with that's encouraging you in your business.
And I'll be happy to be one of those 5 as well. Sometimes, and we've talked about this earlier, Theresa and I did, about the fact that sometimes you figure out your own answers just by talking about it. So, if somebody can just be a sounding board for you sometimes and just let you talk through the problem, you find yourself finding a way around it. It's not wrong.
So in my business, last year, I kind of hit a little bit of a wall with the magazine. I just really couldn't figure out what was happening. Anything wasn't bad happening. It's just I felt like a plateau. And so you and I had lunch, and we talked, and we went through some ideas, and then I met with Walt at the SBDC, and we again went through some things and discussed some things, and really just evaluated where I was and where I needed to go. And it was just a time of making some adjustments. And then in my head, I knew what I needed to do. But sometimes just having somebody reassure you or give you some insight is always beneficial, especially for small business owners, because sometimes you do feel like you are all alone out there.
Absolutely. Well, if you will give everyone your contact information, please.
Yes. So it's Theresa at THBoyd.com. So it's THRESSEA at THBoyd.com.
Sounds awesome. And again, I want to thank you so much for being one of our sponsors for this event. And don't forget, tomorrow we will have Walt Moore on, and on Friday, we'll be doing a marketing session with Ann from Ascend. So at this point, we're not quite sure if they're going to be recorded or if they're going to be live. We'll be sending that information out to you a bit today, and we'll be back with you.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.